Hello everyone, welcome to this live stream by Perfect Web Solutions. I'm your host Imran Qasim, and if you can hear me, just type in the comment and the chat box yes, and that I will know that
Hello
you can
everyone,
hear me.
welcome to this live stream.
Kindly type yes in the chat box if you can hear me, so that we can start our today's live session about responsive layout design. Okay, great. So as you know that our today's topic is getting started with responsive layout design. So for this session, if you want to understand this session, you should know the basics of web design, that how to use HTML, CSS, or at least JavaScript as well. But for to know that responsiveness, you don't need to know about JavaScript that much, only HTML and CSS. So our today's topic is getting started with responsive layout design. So first of all, we need to understand what is responsive layout design. Until we don't understand about the responsive layout design, we cannot make our website or our application responsive. And also, I would like to tell you that please keep your questions for till the end. When I will ask you, then you can ask your question, then you can start asking your question. Till then, if you can hear me, and keep your questions if you have any question. So please bear with me for the next 30 minutes, where I'm going to show you some of the guides when you are going to develop responsive layout designs. There are some key points, key aspects in designing responsive websites. So that is what I'm going to discuss in today's session here. So the key points before you start learning about layout design, you should understand what is a responsive layout. Responsive layout basically means that whenever you create a website, it responds to different screen resolutions. I mean, now it's in era of 2018, even from starting from 2015, there are more mobile users, and they are surprisingly increasing more and more day by day. So all the old websites which are not responsive are going to be dead. They are going to be closed. So in this era, we should learn how to design responsive websites. Many developers still struggle to create responsive websites because they haven't learned it properly how to do or how to make a website responsive. In this live session, I'm not going to give you some, coding, but what I will give you is some guidelines which you should follow to design a responsive website. So in the first, we should learn about screen and mobile emulation, that what is a screen or what is the mobile emulation. If you know about your latest browsers, like if you know about Mozilla Firefox, Chrome browser, and there are many other browsers in the market, but most famous browsers are Firefox and Chrome browser. So they have a built-in tool which is called developer tools. But before I talk about developer tool, I need to tell you that there are a few things you need to understand, that what are emulator screen sizes and how they emulate it. Furthermore, there are some points that emulation can be far from a real device. I mean, if you are emulating your website on a browser like on Chrome or Firefox, keep in mind that its emulation can be, if there is a possibility that when you open that website on a real mobile device, it may not look same as it is currently you are looking it at an emulation. And the second point is be careful with screen sizes. I mean, there are many screen sizes nowadays. There are different sizes of screens, not only for mobiles, but there are different screen sizes of computers, laptops, desktops. And in this year, 2000, starting from 2017, there are more wide screens. I mean, they are less in height and There are more in width, so they are called wide screens. This is the era of widescreen devices. There are more widescreen devices. So you should be careful with the screen sizes, which screen sizes you are targeting when you are converting your your website into a responsive layout. After that, emulating the screen size is not everything. I mean, if you are emulating and if you are checking that how does your website looks like on a mobile, and you are using a browser like Chrome and emulating it as a device, like if it can be seen on iPhone or iPad or any other mobile device. So don't think that it is everything. You should look that website on a real device to make sure that what you are doing is properly responding at that particular screen size. So built-in browser feature like Chrome built-in browser feature, Firefox large screen features, you can use those features just for checking purpose. But for final test, you should open that mobile web application or website on a real mobile device. After that, only be sure that yes, this is the mobile is working fine. So before I go to the next slide, let me show you an example here. So I will open my Chrome browser in incognito and will share the screen with you so that you can see it. My screen, Chrome screen, do let me know that you can see so that I can start. So now that you can see my computer screen and you can see my Chrome browser in incognito mode, and then I will open my our website, which is perfectwebsolutions.info, and then I will show you that what exactly do I mean by emulation. So here you can see I'm opening my website, and also the developer tool should be also open, and the shortcut key for this developer tool is F12, and this is our website. If you see on the developer tool the second icon which says toggle device toolbar, this device toolbar will help you to emulate different screen sizes on your Chrome browser. So let me click on it, and as soon as I click on it, you will see that our website has been shown on an iPhone 7. Here we have different devices which are configured as an emulation, and you can select any of the device, and also you can edit it and add your own screen sizes here so that you can check on custom screen sizes as well. So these things are really helpful for you to understand how your website looks on a responsive device or on a particular device. Like if I change it to iPhone 8, it will show a bit differently. If I change to iPhone X, you can see here iPhone X have 375 by 375 width, 375 pixel width, and Galaxy S5 have 360, and also Nexus SP have 412 pixel. So these are different screen resolutions. If you click on iPad, you can see 768 by 1024. If you go to iPad Pro, it is 1024 by 1366. 1024 pixel wide, and this is 1366 is the height of the resolution, not the mobile. Don't consider this the size of mobile, but this is the size of screen resolution. So currently you can see 1024 pixel is the width and 1366 is the height. And also you can rotate it, like you can rotate it to portrait mode or landscape mode by clicking on this icon. So suppose if I go to iPhone 7 selection and then I click here, you can see how does it emulate on iPhone 7. But keep in mind that this is not the final look. To make it final, you have to look it on your real device. Until you don't look it on your real device, you cannot be assured that it is does look good on the mobiles. So this is what about responsive web design, that your website should respond, should adjust its contents, its containers according to the size of the screen. So right now, this is the first step. You should know that you can use emulating inside your browser, but there are few points also you should keep in mind. So how to verify those the next topic is how you can validate your responsive layout design. I mean, if you have designed your website screen, then how you can verify that this is according to the standards. For this, there are few tools available on the internet which are called mobile UI validation tools. So there is the first one is built-in browser developer tool, which I already explained it here by opening the developer tool console and then clicking on the second icon here on the screen, and then it will show you the current mobile views you can emulate. So this is the first step, mobile UI validation, that you can validate how your website will look on a certain mobile device. Then there are some other tools available in the market like Mobile OK Checker. Mobile OK Checker is from the W3C. So let me show you that one as well. If I open a new tab here and I will just simply search Mobile OK. This is Mobile OK Checker, and this one is the W3C Mobile Checker or W3C Validator. And we can click on this mobile.css-validator.org. So this is our website. I can put here our website address like this, and then we can click on the check that what it tell us about our website. It might show us many different errors, but they also show you the speed optimization error, how your site will behave on the real mobile devices. So let's see. The address is being checked. Please wait. It will take some time to analyze your website, and after it finishes its analyzing, it will show you that you have critical errors 2, you have severe problems 5, medium 1, low 5, and failure per category. It will show you the complete details of your website, how much time does it taking. Like if you can see here, this image is 1.2 MB. It is taking much time. Let me show you. Yeah, 1.2 MB, and it means it will take a hell of time to load it. And if you calculate total sizes, they will be very big. So you should be careful. Then you have network usage statistics here. So this is something you should understand how it works. I will create a separate session on this W3C mobile checker and some other tools. But this is just to show you that you can validate your website by looking mobile OK checker, or you can directly go to mobile.css-validator.org. So, and you can check your website over here about how your website will behave, and then you can see a detailed report. You can see a detailed report about our website, like there are more than 20 embedded external resources. The total size of the page is 3.7 MB, is 20 kilobyte primary document. So these are some guidelines it is providing you, which you should understand and follow to optimize your website for mobile devices, so that they can open much faster and respond quicker on the mobile devices. This is one tool. Then there is also Google PageSpeed Insight. Google PageSpeed Insight also is a very good tool. You can open in the next tab. I will simply search on the Google. This is our PageSpeed Insight Google developers. And here again, we should type our website like perfectwebsolutions.info, and you can analyze your website. It will show you how your site will look on a mobile device. So this is, it is showing it is medium. I mean, it is getting good points. 77 is quite good, but it should be increased at least 80 plus. It should be 80 plus, then it will consider good. Because, and also it will show you some optimization suggestions here, like it is showing you this remove header, remove render blocking JavaScript, optimize CSS delivery, and also browser caching is not installed. It's saying leverage browser caching, optimize images. There is only one image. I think it is showing this image, which is big image.png, and it shows that optimize this. Then also optimization already present. This is what it shows you, that it is already present. You shouldn't consider. And here it also tell you where you can download optimized images, JavaScript and CSS resources, so that you can upload them and replace your existing resources with these images, JavaScript and CSS resources. So this is all about responsive mobile UI validation tools. So these can help you to validate your mobile, the layout of your website on a mobile device. So I'm sure you understand what is mobile UI validation tool. So next is typical mobile experience problems. So here I will discuss some of the problems. There are not too many, very few. I think 2 or 3 most important mobile experience problems which you should consider and try to fix them to make your website look good. So the number one issue, which is most oftenly, is the horizontal scrolling on mobile devices. As you might know that mostly people are very annoyed by scrolling left and right on a mobile device. So if your site is not responsive, or you have made some mistakes in it, especially these mistakes come when you are adding images or containers, fixed with containers. When you have fixed with containers, they create problems on a smaller device, and they create horizontal scrolling on mobile devices. So you should fix this issue. I will tell you some guideline later that how you can fix these kinds of issues. But horizontal scrolling on mobile devices is a very, very big issue, which you should learn, that how we can reduce the horizontal scrolling. And for this, I'm sure many of you already know that we need to use media queries for different screen sizes. I mean, we need to use @media and then screen, and then we need to tell that on what screen size the container size should be what, or image size should be what. So this is how you handle the horizontal scrolling on mobile devices. The next issue came empty space on wide screen. While you are handling smaller devices in responsive, you should also consider the bigger devices, the wide screen giant devices like 52, 60-inch plasma, a big screen. How you are going to handle that when you have created your website and you have added some containers images, they look very good on desktop and laptops. But as soon as you are going to open them on a bigger screen, on a giant screen, or on a wide screen device, then you will see some empty spaces on left, right, top, or bottom, because you haven't optimized your website properly for that. We will discuss this topic and we will find how can we resolve these kinds of issues. So the next number 3 issue must be, which should be considered, is floating the elements. I mean, when you use in your CSS float left, float right, or display inline block, or position, relative, absolute, fixed, static, you use different kinds of, and you float your element here and there. They might look good on a certain screen size. I mean, the screen size where you are creating your website, they may look good, but as soon as you change the size of your screen, like you emulate it on the device, they might jump someplace else and they don't look good. So you need to understand how to handle. Sometimes we do, like we hide those elements which are not much necessary, so that we can create a flawless layout as well. So jumping floating elements should be an issue when you are creating responsive website design. And you should understand how can I handle when I have a floating element left on, then I should on the smaller screen, should I float it right, or should I do it float none, or we should clear the float. So these things come with the experience, and also by following some of the experienced developers coding, like how they design the website. There are many tutorials available on the YouTube which you can see and you can experience how the people are designing complete website, how they are using media queries, how they are handling the floating elements. I mean, they are arranging the element when they are on the smaller screen, they should be shown on a one image, on a line, or row wise or stack wise or column wise, how they are showing those elements. So these are the most typical problems which experience during designing mobile layouts or bigger widescreen layouts. So you should not only consider your own screen size, I mean on the size you are designing that website, but you should also consider the bigger screens and the smaller screen as well. Responsive does not only means designing for smaller screens. Responsive also means to design for the bigger screen sizes. So here the next topic is mobile experience do's and don'ts. So to overcome many of the problems which we discussed earlier, that horizontal scrolling on mobile devices, empty space on white screens, jumping floating elements, you should consider some do's and don'ts in responsive design. Advice number one is for you is that don't hard code widths inside your layout. I mean, if you are creating a layout and you have a div, don't directly put a width height, I mean width of that div inside that style tag. I mean, don't hard code the widths, make them fluid or make them in percentages in the percent. So advice number two, if you are considered to add a width, you should use percentages, or you should understand how the column layout, we need to create the column layout. I mean, percentages are good to create column layouts. Like if you are on a screen like 1200 pixel wide and you want to show three images or four images or four boxes in one row, as you reduce the sizes, you may change them to two. And then as you go down more, you should use one image or one container in one row, or it also called the stack layout. So this is the second advice, that uses of percentages and column layout. This is also called grid layout, and which is very popular CSS layout currently. I will create some tutorials on grid layout as well as flexbox layout. So these are very helpful when you are designing responsive website. I will definitely create some tutorials on it as well. So advice number three, dynamic menu layout. Menu is a very important aspect of a website design. Menus help the user experience to navigate from one place to another place. So if you don't handle the menus dynamically, I mean, if you don't change the menus layout according to the screen size, user experience may not work that much. So you should create dynamic menus layout. I mean, if you go to smaller screens, you should place it somewhere else that user can access the menu easily. And if it's a wider screen, you should also put it some good place. Also, advice number four, that don't use hover events. I mean, hover events are good. I mean, when you hover a mouse, then you should consider that what kind of pop-up menu should display to the user to make him understand what kind of element is it. Like if is it a menu, then most probably you will show a hand icon. When you move your mouse over it, you will show a hand icon on it. So the user will know that this is a link which I have to click and it will take me to another place, or maybe another website, or maybe another of your page. So these are few do's and don'ts which you should consider when you are creating your responsive layout. So now all these question, when you understand all of these things, after that you should understand one more thing, that is media queries. If you cannot understand media queries, you cannot do responsive website designs properly. So understanding media queries is very much important. It is very important to understand the media queries. That media queries will help you to change your contents or change your website layout from wider screen to smaller screen or smaller screen to wider screen. I will definitely create some tutorials on responsive responsive web designs as well. Especially, I have, I think, promised before as well that I will create tutorial on Flexbox and CSS grid system. So I will definitely do that as soon as possible, and it will really, really help new users to create responsive layouts easily and flawlessly. They are very good. They are not responsive designs, but they will help you a lot to design responsive layouts. So guys, this was my session today for responsive design layout. And now it's time for you to ask the question. If you have any questions, do let me know in the chat box so I can reply them one by one. So it's your question time. So please, you can ask your questions right now. Okay, let me take some questions from the chat box. Can you make Rohan VFX? Can you make Ionic 4 with Vue Js? Yes, Rohan VFX. It is very easy to integrate Ionic 4 with Vue Js, as you know that both of them are front-end frameworks. Vue Js also work with DOM as well as Icon. Ionic 4 also have some predefined tags which you can integrate with your HTML, and they will work very good. And the second question is SCH Peng. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce it. Alan, your name. The screen is up, resolution low, though can't see any detail of words, etc. It is very easy. You just need to click the cog icon, which is also called settings, and then you go quality tab and click on it, and then you can go to 72p HD quality, and I'm sure then you can see it properly. Is it for Spengel or whatever name it is? You can change the screen quality by clicking the cog icon, or it is called settings icon, and then you can click on quality. And after quality, you can select 720p HD quality, and you can watch this live session in HD quality. Okay, guys, any other question? And Walaikum Salam, web designer and web development. Sorry, I didn't answer earlier because I was busy in the session. And Kamran Makbul asked, what is Flexbox? Basically, Kamran Makbul, let me tell you that Flexbox is a CSS display property. And when you set a container, a Flexbox, then there is some child elements, child attribute, which you apply on it, and then you make your website layout. It is also called, it is named as Flexbox, but this is simply called Flex. You can just set display Flex, like just you use display block, or you use display inline block, or you use inline, or you use display static. It is also a kind of display property, value of a display property. So display property is display. So display colon flex, then you can apply its child property on it. So Flexbox is a very good tool to help you to make your website responsive easily. It overcome many of the floating problems, especially which are related to a block level diagram. When you create display block or inline block, there are some problems came when you do clear float or flow clear left, clear right. So this Flexbox overcome this problem. Any other question from you guys? Please put the question here. Kamran Makbul, you can combine multiple CSS file to one CSS using, there are some Webpack, some generator files like Webpack, or there are some applications like that which automatically parse and read all the CSS files and then combine them in one file. So you can also do it by yourself manually by just creating one file and putting all of your CSS in that particular file. This is how you combine multiple files into one file. I think there is Grunt and Gulp, something like these tools, and also Webpack, which is used to combine those files, and not only combine but also minify them. Any other question? Is there any other question? Yes, Kamran Makbul, Bootstrap 4 is now officially announced. And if you go to getbootstrap.com, you will see their Bootstrap 4 is now on the main screen, and you can, but still you can use Bootstrap 3 as well. They are providing, I think they are finalized 3.3.7, and now you can use Bootstrap 4. It is from alpha to beta. Kamran Makbul, SAS asked what is SAS or less. It is not SAS or less, it is SAS or less. So they are preprocessor or compiler for CSS files which can help you to compile your code. I mean, you can write the CSS in programmatic way. You can define, declare variables, and after that you can compile it to CSS. So it will help you to make your process fast. Like if you have a color, red color on 20-30 different places, but if you use SAS, then you can compile and you can replace that color in a one place only. If you use SAS or less, then you can place that color as a variable, and then you just need to change that variable value, and all of those places which are using that particular color or style will automatically be changed according to that change. So these are just preprocessor or compilers to compile two CSS files. I mean, you create the file as CSS or LESS, and then you can compile it. They will help you to compile to CSS file. So if you want to see the example, then you can go to codepen.io and then just see some examples there. You can see their SAS and their CSS version as well. You will see that how they have written the SAS version, and then you can see the CSS version of the same SAS file. So they are very helpful. But I most oftenly, if you are writing too much HTML, CSS, I mean, you are basically a web designer, then these things are good for you. But if you are a developer, then I think learning SAS or less is not that much profitable for you. Rather than you should concentrate on programming more. So these tools are for web designers only. They are very good for web designers, but they are not necessary. Or web developer for web developer, it is not needed to learn them. Good evening, Gupta. Yes, you can ask a question on Angular as well, but unfortunately, I might not be able to write the code here, but I will try my best to answer as much as I can. But surely you can go ahead and ask me about Angular. Anyone else have any question? Kamran Makbul asked the question: what database used for hybrid mobile app? What is MongoDB? So normally, Kamran Makbul, normally you don't use any database with mobile app, but you create an API. If you need to connect to a database, you use a server-side scripting language like PHP, .NET, or any other server-side scripting language. You create a link to and you target that URL using your mobile app, and then that URL will return you data in JSON format, and then you can process it on your mobile. So what I mean is that for a hybrid mobile app, there is no necessary, there is not a particular database to use. You can use any database. But if you want to use specifically for mobile devices, there is also a local mobile database available for our mobile. But for hybrid mobile apps, you use any database. Like you can use MySQL, you can use MS SQL, you can use Postgres, any database you want to use, you can use with hybrid mobile apps. Because hybrid mobile app basically do a hit a URL, and then they send a API call, and then you have created an API and you get response from that API, and then you process it on your mobile. Gupta asked a question. Please make a video tutorial or live talk on add to cart functionality on Angular. So it means you are building an application for e-commerce and you want to do an add to cart. So if you are building an application using add to cart and you want to add to cart functionality, what kind of problem do you think you can have? You know that there is a V model, and as soon as you change a property, it automatically reflect to the certain point. If you have watched my last video tutorial about using Ajax, and I have added live search using Ajax on it. But for a particular Angular or Vue or any other front-end framework, the logic is actually, you should understand the logic, that how add to cart functionality you want to implement in Angular or any other application. So it is very, very easy. It is just like point and click. As soon as you click on a button, add to cart button, it generate an event, and that event simply increment one variable which can be accessed on the add to cart, but I mean add to cart icon or add to cart number, and it will automatically increment that button. So this is how you create your add to cart functionality on Angular. And furthermore, you can make use of local storage, or you can make use of your sessions and cookies to keep the those add to cart. I mean, if they have multiple products and you want to keep them count that how many products they have purchased, so you can use sessions, local sessions, and you can also use local cookies. I have also created a tutorial on HTML5 local storage. You can watch that video tutorial, session storage and local storage. You can use that. And also, we can do DOM manipulation using Angular as well. My next I might be after 2 or 3 days, or maybe after a week, I will create a video tutorial how to manipulate DOM using Angular 5. So I will definitely use local session and local storage as well on it. You can use any JavaScript function with Angular. So if you know how to handle as a local session and local storage using JavaScript, then there shouldn't be any problem for you to do it in Angular as well. But when we start building applications, I mean, when we start building complete applications, we will definitely do these kinds of things. But my aim is to do those complete fully projects after completing 5K plus subscribers, and after that definitely I will do. And if you are watching this live session, please do press the like button as well, that it will also encourage me that people are watching. Right now there are 6 who are watching. I have no concern even if they are 1. I will answer their questions as I am answering hundreds or thousands of people. And I'm looking forward for more and more people to these live sessions every weekend. Saturday night is in English and Sunday night is in Urdu language, or Urdu or Hindi language. Any other question? Is there any other question? Just do let me know, and don't forget to press the like button. And if you can't see the resolution very good, or my screen on your device, then do change the settings. Click on the setting icon, and then you can go to the high quality 720p, and I'm sure it will look good on that 720p. So there is only 10 minutes more left to end this session. So if you have any other question, okay. Sorry for Kamran Makbul, I forgot to answer what is MongoDB. Sorry for that. MongoDB is a NoSQL database where you save your data as a collection, and then you can access that data as you want. I will be definitely creating tutorials on MongoDB, Firebase as well. They are also real-time collection, NoSQL databases where you don't need to use SQL queries, complicated SQL queries like select, static, join, and order by clause like this. So these are very good tools for, they are upcoming, and they are very well supported with Angular and JavaScript front-end frameworks like Angular or React or any other front-end framework. These are the tools which are used now. There are very good packages available for Angular as well as like React or other JavaScript front-end frameworks. So it works very good with Node.js and Node.js related platforms. So MongoDB is a database which uses no SQL queries. No SQL mean it does not use complicated SQL queries. It does have some what you call collections, and you access the data using those collections. Gupta asked a question, please adding some pagination also using API. You mean if we access data from API and then we create pagination using JavaScript? Yes, this is also I'm aiming. I have recently created pagination in Vue Js using a package JSON API. Sorry, Vue Js package. I have created pagination, but I think that most good practice for JavaScript frameworks is using JavaScript for pagination as well. Ali John said, "Sir, you have answered about SAS and less. It is SAS and less. They are. If you just simply type what is SAS, you will get its definition in detail. But let me tell you, they are compiler which are used to convert your files into CSS file. I mean, if you created a SAS file or less file, you can easily convert it to a CSS file. The advantage of using SAS or less is that you create CSS file in a programmatic way. You define variable, you create logic, you add, you divide, you subtract, everything you do in SAS or less. And after that, when you compile it, it will generate you a finalized version of a CSS file, and it will help you in future. Like if you need to change many places in CSS, if you are using SAS, you can do this in a very less place. I mean, if you define a variable color red and you have used that color red in 20 or 50 different places, in normal CSS you should go there and change. If you in future you want to change it to yellow color, then you have to go on to 20 to 50 places to make those changes. But if you have the SAS file or less file, you can simply go on one variable, change it, and then recompile it. It will automatically convert it to CSS file, and accordingly it will change to the that version. Most oftenly these things are used. If you go to I think that website is from where you download the templates. I just forgot its name. Theme Forest. Yeah. If you go to the Theme Forest and you preview any demo, you will see a icon on the top left or top right side, and you click it, and then you change the icons, and it will respond accordingly and change the layout of your design. This is all done with SAS or less. They are on runtime compiling those files and then changing and showing you the current, how does this website look with these color schemes or whatever it is. So this is how you use SAS or less. So they are programmatic ways to create CSS files. Kamran Makbul, my experience in web development is not more than 7 years. I'm in this field from 2010. 2011. I'm in this field from 2011, and till now I'm still in this field. Before 2012, I wasn't doing, but I was working in, not practically, but I was in the web development from 2004. I completed my graduation in BSc Computer Science in 2004. After that, I went to another job, which I don't want to discuss it here, but I joined web development again in 2011. There are many softwares available on the internet. Some of them are free, and most professionals are paid. I haven't used any because I'm a web developer, and for a web developer, it is not needed to use SAS or less because programmers work mostly with server-side scripting language. They use web designing just a tool as a tool and just to make small changes. So I haven't used any SAS or less compilers. And if you still want to use SAS or less in your files, you can go to online editors like codepen.io. You create SAS code over there, and then you can compile it to your CSS file easily. Avanish Singh asks, please provide us a tutorial on Node.js with MongoDB. Yes, I have started a series on Node.js. It is going very slow, I know that, but actually I have some other things, other concerns. I am also a freelancer, so sometimes I don't get too much time to create tutorials because before creating the tutorial, I have to search about that particular tutorial, get all the points, and then I create those tutorials. So I have Node.js with MySQL tutorial already on on my channel. You can watch that Node.js with MySQL. But shortly I will create a Node.js with MongoDB in Urdu and Hindi language. All of my tutorial will be in Urdu and in Hindi language. For these sessions, I just decided, I don't know why, but I just decided two sessions every week, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday will be in English and Sunday will be in Urdu or Hindi language. So Vinay Singh, you can watch that tutorial. For to make MongoDB work with Node.js, you just need to install a package, and after installing the package, you just need to follow the instructions which are shown on github.com regarding that MongoDB package, and after that, you are good to go. So, any other question? Currently, there are 8 people are watching now. There are 9, and so we have equalized the likes and the watching people. 9 likes and 9 people are watching. Any other question? Only 5 minutes are left right now, and after 5 minutes we will close our session. Walaikum Assalam, reality and facts. You are welcome, Avinash Singh. Rashid Makbul, kindly ask your question in English if is it possible. I do understand what is your question, but I will prefer if you ask the question in English or just wait for the tomorrow's session on I mean on Sunday same time 10 p.m. and I will answer that question in your in Urdu and Hindi language. But let me tell you, if you don't understand how things work, just search on internet and make them work only. Don't think that how they are working. As long as they are working, you are good to go. Sometimes I do also this, that if something is working, I don't go into detail that why this is working. I just keep it that yes, this is how it is working. So I will definitely answer your question tomorrow in the live session. This is answer for Rashid Makbul. And please, if you haven't pressed the like button, do press the like button. Is there any other question, or we should close the session? Now it is almost 2 minutes left. So if you have any other question, do let me know. If I get good questions, I can extend 1 hour more if I can get good questions, and I will be happy to answer them. But if there are no questions, do let me know as well, so that we can close our session for today, and we will meet tomorrow again at same time, 5 p.m. GMT. Okay, Rashid Makbul asked that my tutorials are simple. He says your tutorial mean my tutorials are simple. It's good, but something are not clear. Mean he don't understand many things. They are not yet clear to him. So sometimes make things tough for learner who are just at beginners. So yes, of course, while you are creating these kinds of tutorials, these things does happen that when you are explaining and you forgot to explain something while typing, yet these things does happen. That is the purpose of comment box, and that is the purpose I have created WhatsApp group as well. So you can join that WhatsApp group and you can point out what particular thing you didn't understand in my tutorial, and I will be happy to explain it to you or reference with the reference so that you can better understand it. Sorry for that, because while you are creating those tutorials, it does happen sometime that you forgot to explain things which you should explain. I apologize for that as well, that I do make sometimes these kinds of things that I, rather than explaining them, I just type them. So I'm sorry for that. Kamran Makbul asked the question, every person have smartphone and everyone wish to get some app. What is future of web development in some years? So this is very complicated yet very interesting question, that mobile app development and web development both are the part of development, and they are interrelated as well. Those people who need apps also need their websites, right? So there is nowhere, I mean, I want to say that web development is as good as mobile app development if you are good. And this is the one reason that now we have native like apps using web development tools like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which are the basic bare bones of web development. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So now you can create mobile apps using those tools as well. So they are running parallel, and I don't think so that there is any more scope of mobile app than web development. Both are doing great and running parallel to each other. You can enter any of the field. You can go for web development, and as far as also you can go for mobile app. But web development has more vast areas as compared to mobile apps. Like if you are developing for iOS, you should need a Mac operating system. Without Mac, you cannot create iOS application. Even if you are creating Android app, you do need a very good uh, any notebook or any computer. You do need a good computer to compile your and to run your emulator and files as well on for developing Android mobile apps. So, in my concern, those people who are in mobile app developments, they are few. So, this is the one reason they are getting more jobs and they are earning more as compared to web developers, because mobile app developers are very less as compared to web developers. But still, web development has more opportunities than mobile app development because of this native app development like React Native or Native Script. These things make web development more secure than mobile app development. Okay, Rashid Makbul does not understand join lecture in Laravel series seem to me not clear. Okay, Rashid Makbul, let me tell you, to understand joins, you first understand how SQL queries work. If you understand how SQL queries work, after that you can understand how joins work. I have never explained, nowhere explained joins too much. I think one tutorial was there for joining, and the rest my Laravel 5.5 new tutorial series on one-to-one relationships. There is a difference between relationships and joins. Joins are basically for MySQL statements where you join multiple tables, whereas relationship is something different than joins. I have created more tutorials on relationships because I am also not good in joining tables. I mean, physically writing join queries using SQL, whereas relationship is something which I did in my earlier life. I mean, starting from web development, when I was creating these kinds of relation, I do use loops and decisions to create multiple and to fetch data from multiple tables and then putting them in one array and displaying them on the screen. This is what Laravel is doing as well in their relationships. They are just fetching information from one table, and then based on that particular key they are fetching the related information from the second table. If you have one to one relation, it will only fetch one information from that particular table. If you have one to many relation, it will get the multiple records from the child table. So relationships and joins are two different techniques in Laravel. Joins is basically a MySQL statement, whereas relationships are purely based on programming language PHP. They are not using any join queries in relationships. Uh, if you want to join our WhatsApp group, simply you watch any of our latest video and just read the description, and you will find a link to our WhatsApp group. You can join it. And thank you very much, Kamran Makpoor. And furthermore, I must say that scopes are not created by the tools. It is you who create the scopes, and your expertise, your efficiency make the scope of your learning curve. I mean, in previous session, someone asked the learning about the learning curve. I just answered it that there is no learning curve. Learning is a straight path. It is you who decide something and then you divert from one thing to another. These things make curves for you, but learning itself, if you selected a tool and then you keep moving on for that particular tool, it means you are learning straight. So learning curve means you are learning many things at the same time, which confuses you, and it will create problem, and that you are thinking you are creating some learning curves. Like if you learn Node.js and PHP or any other language parallel, it will definitely create a learning curve for you, because Node.js works on different techniques. It uses different approach, whereas PHP uses different approach to create same thing. So that things make you think like that you are creating a learning. It is a learning curve, but actually it is not a learning curve. It is a curve of a tool which you want to use and you want to learn. So scopes are not built by the tools, but scopes are built by you. If suppose if I launch a tool tomorrow, that tool you can create this thing, but no one is interested in that tool to learn it, and don't think that it is a good, then how can I think I how can I say this is a very good tool, I should learn it? No, it is your community. It's your willing that what actually you want to do. If you want to do mobile app development, you should go for mobile app development and don't think about PHP or any other thing. Just simply learn mobile app development. But if you are learning web development, you are learning PHP, then don't think about .NET, don't think about Java. Just think about PHP and what PHP is doing, how PHP is doing, where I should move forward to learn more about PHP. Rather than learning about and asking about other things, you should focus on your PHP. As I myself, I know native script, I know React Native, but I never worked with them. I know the basics of them, how they work, how you can install native script, how can you install React Native, how can you create a simple application using React or using native script. But because my main work is web development related with PHP, so I am getting day by day more knowledge on Laravel, CodeIgniter, and PHP. I am trying to keep myself updated with these tools, preferably. But I do learn about, because in my start area, in my starting when I learned JavaScript, I learned it very well. So that is why Node.js or Angular or Vue.js or these kinds of tools are not a big issue for me to create. At least I can create tutorials on them rather than creating big projects. I can do create tutorials on these tools very easily. And you can see an example of my Laravel and Vue.js series. It is almost near to end. Last video tutorial is left where I'm going to show you how to do live search using Laravel and Vue.js. So I'm good in PHP procedural. Okay, Rashid Makbul said, I am good in PHP procedural. PHP, please, will you explain how can I become a good Laravel developer? I can make my website in PHP, but I'm new in Laravel framework, so I want to become good. So Rashid Makbul, if you know PHP procedural, so to understand how Laravel works, you first need to learn how PHP OOP is work. Object-oriented concepts are very much necessary to understand Laravel, Zend, G, or Cake PHP frameworks. And also you need to understand what is MVC, how basically MVC works, because what you asked previously, joins or relationships, these are techniques used in Laravel to display the data. And these techniques are using OOP concept, OOP design patterns. So you should learn first object oriented programming concept. What is a class? How to create a class? How to extend a class? What is private? What is public? What is protected? What is property? What is a method? How to extend a method? How to extend a class? How to create interfaces? These things you should understand first. Then you can understand Laravel very well. Yes, of course. Rashid Makbul said, should I watch some sample project on YouTube? Not some. You should watch whatever you get in your dashboard on your YouTube. Whenever you open YouTube, YouTube sometimes suggests you some good tutorials. So you should watch them if you have time. If you do have time, then you should watch good tutorials. You should search them on YouTube and watch them. That this is a good thing watching. And some people learn by reading books, and some people prefer to watch videos rather than reading a whole book. I keep books with me for reference only, and as well as I keep YouTube or I keep Stack Overflow as a reference website whenever I got stuck somewhere and I can't understand what should I do next. I do just simply copy the error and paste it in the Google, and then maybe after 1 or 2 hours I get my answer that what I am doing wrong or what I should not be doing when I'm creating something. I haven't created something interested. Only I created 3 long-term projects while I was doing a job in a software house. I created 3 projects only. One was the freelancing platform website. I created complete freelancing website, including the escrow amount, including the chat. Although the chat was not interactive or live, you have to refresh your pages to get the latest reply, but it was working very well that time in 2012. So Rashid Makbul said that I have worked with OOP too, but I have some problem in Laravel, so some suggestion. So Rashid Makbul, those some problems, until I don't know what are those problems, I cannot suggest something. But I do suggest you that if you know OOP, then you should go to laravel.com documentation and search on the topic which you are getting problem, and then read it. There are some example codes. Put that example code and try to make it work for with you on your local machine, and think and see what you get. And after that you can get, if you still get some error, then you can go to Stack Overflow as well. Put your question there and wait for an answer from someone. If your question is good, people will definitely answer you as soon as possible. Within few minutes to few hours you will get your answer quickly. And also with the passage of time you will surely improve if you keep practicing, and how Laravel is working. So my suggestions to learn something is that first, do it as it is said without thinking why it is doing this, how it is doing this. Just first follow what has been taught, that do this and do this and do this, and that's all. Book, I don't have any Laravel, as far as Laravel book, I don't have any book with me. I only go to laravel.com documentation and follow tutorials over there. And if I stuck some place, then I go to what you call Stack Overflow, and I search on the Google. Okay, Manzar Hussain asked a question that I have watched advanced Laravel tutorial. Also, I study Laravel documents, but not able to get what is contracts and difference between facades and contracts. So these are terminologies used in not in Laravel, but it's as well as in, they are basically specifically used in Laravel facades and contracts. Basically, both of them are helper functions. Both of them are helpers for you, and they are used with some little bit difference. But if you see overall, both are same. They are helper functions for you. So just keep in mind, if something can be done with facade, it can also be done with contracts. And when someone can be done with contract, and it can also be done with facade. And if we go to Laravel documentation, Laravel also explain about it same in same manners, that there is not much difference between these two, Laravel facades and Laravel contracts. So here in Laravel documentation, there's when to use contracts. So as discussed elsewhere, much of the decision to use contracts or facades will come down to personal taste. It is said by Laravel that much of the decision to use contracts or facades will come down to personal taste and the taste of your development team. So these are two different tastes to create helper functions. Both contracts and facades can be used to create robust, well-tested Laravel applications. As long as you are keeping your class responsibilities focused, you will notice very few practical differences between using contracts and facades. However, you may still have several questions regarding contracts. For example, why use interfaces at all? Isn't using interfaces more complicated? Let's distill the reasons. Here, you don't need to consider reasons. You just think, okay, I want to use facade, then go with facades. Don't think about contracts, what they are, or if you are using contracts, then you should use contracts. These are different design patterns based on your taste. So they are heavily dependent on your taste. It is not, they have just given you some tools. So you can use whichever you like to use. Yes, Rashid Makbul asked a question that tomorrow's lecture belongs to Pakistan Standard Time, 10 p.m. Yes, 5 p.m. GMT means 10 p.m. of Pakistan Standard Time. And furthermore, Manzar Hussain, if someone asks you, like if you are going somewhere for interview for as being a Laravel developer, and they ask you where to use contracts or where to use facade or what are the difference between those, you can simply answer that question that both of them are a helper function and they are purely taste of a developer that whether they use facades or contracts, both are classes. Like if you see inheritance, there are many different ways in OOP or PHP OOP to create inheritance. Like you can use interfaces to create inheritance. So you can ask why we use interfaces. So these questions, why, when, where, are also very complicated to answer properly. That when you want to use, where you want to use, but in simple manner, it is your taste. It is your choice which one you want to use. Both of them uses the classes. Rashid Makbul asked one thing more, sir. What is copyright? How do we avoid from it and its punishment? Copyright is a act where you can have the right of something. Like it can be a website, it can be a product, it can be anything you have registered in a government institute that these thing belongs to me. No one else can use it or resell it or reproduce it. So these are things you have registered with the government, and when it comes to the time that you know that someone else is doing the same thing, then you can lodge a complaint in your in your law or in your government institutes like in courts, and you can call that person and you can send a punishment. And same goes for you if you use a copyrighted material without the permission of the author, original person, then there is a punishment for you. Sometime if you take, they can take serious action, like they can put your website, if you are taking some contents, they can put your website down as well. So there are many things. So mainly copyright act means you have registered the rights for something with your name that no one can use it without your permission letter or something. So this is a simple answer to copyright. And to avoid, you cannot avoid punishment from it. I mean, you cannot avoid copyright. If something is copyrighted, you cannot avoid until or unless you make changes in it that it does not look like original copyright material, then of course you can use it. uh, why we are here, ask the question that what will be the topic for tomorrow. So as this topic is in today's topic is responsive layout design, almost same topic will be for tomorrow as well, where we will take your questions and I will answer them. Rather than 30 or 40-minute lecture, I will totally take question on it. It will be like a Q&A, question and answer session in Urdu language, Urdu Hindi language. I might not be explaining anything, but mostly it is Q&A. Balaji asked the question, can I use Vue Js in Salesforce application? Let me tell you, these kinds Salesforce applications are very resource intensive web applications. So in these kinds of application, you need to avoid Ajax or something XML HTTP requests. You should avoid these kinds of technologies to mention. You can use a little bit, but it is not recommended to use XML HTTP request in these kinds of heavy resource intensive applications, because they need quicker responses which might not come on the time when you are using these kinds of Vue JS applications or something like that. But there is another thing which is WebSockets. You can use WebSockets application, and I think there is another concept, crypto, something like that. I think I forgot exact name, but it is not recommended. It is not good to use any XML, HTTP, or AJAX like technology in Salesforce application, because these Salesforce applications sometimes do have real-time interaction and must be they are mostly resource intensive applications. I mean, they use too much resources. So when some application uses too many resources, then it is not recommended to use XML HTTP request on that. So please avoid it. Okay, Rashid Makbul asked another question. It is, I mean, it should be answered by a lawyer. I am not a lawyer, but let me put the question here that if I copy any code from internet, like Bootstrap from W3 schools, I copy Bootstrap template that are free to use, then I use it on my website, then will it be a copyrighted or not? This is the question from Rashid Makbul. If it is stated in the document that you can freely use and modify the content, or you can freely distribute it, or you can freely use it for your own or for commercial use, then you are good to go. You don't need to worry. But if in the terms it is stated that you can use for your personal use, but you cannot use it for commercial. Though there is a difference, small difference between personal use and commercial use. Commercial use sometimes means that you cannot resell it. I mean, you can take that template and to sell to someone, you cannot sell it. That might come be a that might be a problem comes for you later, not at the time you sell it, but maybe in the later time there will be a problem for you that you are selling a document which is not liable for you to sell it. So if the copyright content, I mean, there is a document provided whenever you get a code, there is a terms of services provided that you can use this code free of cost. You can use there are two or three types of licenses: MIT license, GPL license, or there are some other GPL version 2 or MIT or IS, something like this. So please avoid using any pre-written code or pre-written material for commercial purposes. It is better to take it as an example or take it as a inspiration and create something of your own. Then it will not become a copy. Like if you see my just title here, which is saying getting started with responsive layout design, I have taken this text from somewhere, but this is just one line of text. Everything which is explained against this one line of statement, getting started with responsive layout design, is something else. It is not what I speak here, it was something else. So it doesn't come copyright. And the image I have used in this image, you can see, I searched on, when I searched this image, I didn't created this image in which you can see on right now on the on my screen, that this image I haven't created it. I downloaded it from Google. But when I searched about this image, I also searched that they have permitted to use it commercially. There is no Copyrights Act on this image, so I can use it freely anywhere, everywhere I want it. Okay, Balaji asked that, but client wants Salesforce application like single page application. Is there any other? Listen, I didn't say you cannot, but what I say is it is a resource intensive application. You can tell your client about this, and if he still wants to implement it, then you can go ahead and implement it. I am not saying it cannot be. You can. It is very easy to implement Vue JS in any application. As far as you know that Vue JS, I mean, it is a DOM level manipulation of one page application. So yes, you can go with uh, Vue.js and you can create single page application. If client, whatever is the reason client is saying, yes, I need a single page application, you can go with it. Maybe in later future he got some problems and he come back to you, and then they will convert some of the options into multi-page. Like if you see my CRUD applications in Vue.js as well as Ajax, I have created a portion like user CRUD system, product CRUD system, like categories CRUD system. These are CRUD systems separate. So you can create each CRUD system single page. But for the next CRUD system, you can put another URL that now you need to go to user URL. Then when they go to user URL, then you can apply user CRUD system using Vue.js or Ajax. So if the client needs that, then the only option for you is using Vue.js. Or if you are good in Angular, you can use Angular as well. But I don't recommend using for simple. If you are working with PHP, then you should go with Vue.js. Arun Mishra asked a question, could you please make a video explaining a practical application of Laravel service providers? Let me tell you that these all design patterns, which are standard design pattern of PHP, there is every application you design with it, it is a practical application. So even if I create a simple CRUD using service provider, then that is a practical application of it. So what exactly do you mean by practical application? You mean, if you mean like creating a Salesforce, just like Balaji asked the question, or creating any management system like this. But whatever example I have given in my Laravel service provider tutorial, it is a practical example. It is one of the practical example to use Laravel service providers. Rashid Makul said, I have made a template which is same as W3 school template, which is copyright data. Then what should I do? Then simply you cannot sell it. You might not get a problem today, but tomorrow you may get it after selling it. So if I don't recommend using the same, because if it is already available in W3 school, then why you have created, why you have made it in the first place? It means you have copied, not made it. You have copied a W3 school template, or if you can make some changes, then go with it and make those changes and create a separate look of it. Then you can reuse it. But if you want it same as it is, then I don't recommend it. It is not good practice. It is not good to use it. Yes, Arun Mishra, you can watch that video tutorial. I have already created a tutorial on it, how to use service provider in Laravel. And definitely, if it still doesn't help you, you can put a comment. You can use the comment section and just put forward your question. What exactly you didn't understand? Because it is also depend on the taste of the developer, which design pattern does that developers use. There are many design patterns specifically in PHP OOP or PHP object-oriented programming, and it is up to you. It is up to your taste or up to your team taste, which you understand properly and you go with it. And Laravel implemented all of those, most of them. If I talk about Zen framework, Zen is not only object-oriented programming, it also modular programming. Zen framework is not only an object-oriented MVC framework, but also it is a modular programming. You create different modules, and each module is an independent module in Zen framework. But it is not what in Laravel. Laravel is an MVC framework, and it purely follows some of good design pattern of PHP object oriented, from which one is dependency injection, and then one is service provider through service provider factory method. These are all kinds of different design patterns, and it is up to you which you prefer. And in future, if you are going to create some packages for Laravel, then you need to learn about more. Then you need to learn more about these service providers. If you are in future going to create some package for Laravel, then you need to understand more about service providers. I have also created, I think, a small tutorial on creating a simple Facebook like API calls using service providers. You can watch that tutorial, and I'm sure it will help you to understand more about service providers. So it's almost 1 hour and 31 and a half hours has been passed. I think there are no more questions left. And if let me request you again, if you haven't clicked the like button, please do click the like button. Shilpi Akhtar Jahan asked the question. I am a trainee of IDB BICE W. Currently, I'm training to build a HRMS project. So can I get any support from you if I fall any problem? Yes, you can ask me if you need any help from me, but I have clearly said in every of my talk and tutorial that I can help you, but I cannot code for you. I can help you for free, but if you need to code something, that will not be free. You have to pay for it. So that is a very clear thing. Creating code for you, writing code for you is something else. Helping you and providing you some useful links is something else. So as far as help is concerned, it is free of cost. I won't charge anything for help. But if you need me to write code for you, then there must be some price or some payment against what kind of task you need to me perform for you. You are welcome, Balaji. Thank you very much for you as well for joining this live session and making it successful. And thank you for liking as well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Arun Mishra, for your good words. It really helps me. Also, these good words or these words will help me to create more and more new tutorials and new. This live session is also just because of you, these kinds of messages I'm getting. So that is why I think that I should also create some live sessions where I can not only talk, I can answer your questions so you can better understand about what things are, what's going on in web development especially. I just take some few topics and I talk on them live, and then I take your questions. Also, I'm planning to hire a freelancer. I'm planning to create a live session for in Urdu as well as in English. Maybe next 1 or 2 weeks. I'm trying to arrange a very good freelancer who's very successful and is good friend of mine. I will ask him some question and I will put some question from you as well to him, and he will be happy to answer you. So maybe next week or 1 or 2 after 1 or 2 weeks, I will uh, just send you a notification that I will be having a topic on freelancing, how to become a successful freelancer, what things you need to keep in mind. Because when we started freelancing at that time, it wasn't that much hard. I'm talking about 2010. It wasn't hard that much, but right now, every online platform which we are using for freelancing, like Fiverr.com or Upwork.com, they are stricken their policies. As well as if you talk about YouTube also have make very much hard for new upcomers, new YouTubers to create videos because of their some criteria like 10,000 they need to have 10,000 watch time, 10,000 views, overall. Then there you need to have 1000 subscribers, and then you have 4000 hours watch time. After that you can monetize your videos and make some pennies using monetization. But I joined this YouTube not just because of earning, but also to get help and to provide help as well. I get my help as well from YouTube. So I thought what I learned, I should also deliver in Urdu and Hindi language. I mostly follow English tutorials. I do follow some of Hindi and Urdu tutorials, YouTube channels as well. But most of time, my followers, you can check my followers, and you can see most of them are from foreign, like they are in English language, and I just simply learn those techniques as well, and I will keep myself updated through YouTube as well. So things I will create next 1 week or 2 weeks later, we will have a session on freelancing, how to be a successful tips, some tips and some guidelines will be provided to you so that you can start your career as a freelancer as well, not only doing job, but you can work whenever you are free. You can work on these platforms, how to set up, we will do how to set up, from how to set up account to how to get your first job on these freelancers. So just wait for the notification, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do consider and subscribe to it. And I'm going to close this session for now, and we will meet tomorrow at the same time, 5 p.m. GMT, and it will be same topic. I mean, there is, as far as web development topic, it shouldn't be other than web development, and I will be happy to reply to you. Thank you very much. Umar Farouk asked a question: have you tutorials on web API in Laravel? Yes, I have Lumen tutorial series on APIs, complete Lumen tutorials, I think 8 to 10 or 10 tutorials. Then I also have a Laravel tutorial using passport package to create a web API. You can watch those tutorials as well. I do have these two kinds of tutorial on my channel. And in near future, I'm going to build web API tutorials using Node.js or might be Angular 5, but I haven't decided it yet. I will go on and see what should I do next. So I will surely be creating web API tutorials using Node as well. I do have for Laravel already. Okay, guys, it's almost going to be 2 hours, and it's long enough. And thank you very much for being with me. And if you haven't liked my video or subscribed to channel, please do consider and like and subscribe to my channel. Arun Mishra asked, one thing I have not seen on YouTube is a WebRTC video chat with Laravel backend one-to-one video chat with option of adding more people. So there are many video tutorials available on internet related to real-time chat applications using WebSockets. If you understand WebSockets, how WebSockets work, then I'm sure WebRTC are just few commands in JavaScript which help you to render your camera on the screen and then sharing this camera screen on to your other client and creating a live session between private or public chat rooms. I was thinking about this thing as well, WebRTC, and I found out that there are few tutorials too available. There are available WebRTC tutorials, especially interacting with camera, how you can open your webcam, how you can open your mic and you can talk and other people can listen to you. But surely there are no advanced video tutorial on it. And because I think because there might be a reason that people don't want to share it for free, they want to sell it somewhere like Udemy or someplace else, so people can pay them and they think that they can earn money by making paid video for it. So that might be the reason there is no advanced topic of WebRTC, or maybe this technology is not that much popular right now. Like these kinds of live streams I'm doing here, or I use Hangout or I use any other live stream APIs. So I think if I think about WebRTC video chat or specifically using Laravel, I think if you search on internet, there might be you find any guidelines to create these kinds of tutorial. So mostly advanced tutorials are paid tutorials. People don't want to give them for free. They think that they can earn money not just from the YouTube or from giving it for free. They should make some money by selling them on Udemy platform. So try to find Udemy and you might find some good tutorials related to WebRTC. Okay, guys, I think it's enough for now, and I'm not going to take any question. And thank you very much for being with me till end, and also thank you very much for liking the video. We have got 13 likes here. That is very good for starting channel, and my channel is still in starting process. I mean, I just got 3K plus subscribers, which is not too many, but they are all good, and I have very good followers. I have a WhatsApp group, Facebook. We have Facebook page as well. We have a Facebook group as well. You can join it and you can ask your questions. And I or any of my from my team will help you, try to help you whatever they can, and you can help each other as well. So thank you very much, guys. Once again, take care and bye.